Penguin Random House Audio presents All the Signs by Jessie Rosen. Read for you by Carlotta Brentan. For my parents, who gave me everything, including the time, date, and place I was born. No one's gonna drag you up to get into the light where you belong. But where do you belong? Ace of Base. Prologue. January 2022. The DJ lowered the music as I shifted in my too high heels and clinked a fork to my champagne glass. "Hello, hello," I called out. "Can I have everyone's attention? I know it's probably a sin to cut off Springsteen, but I'd like to make a toast." "A cardinal sin," Father Dan yelled from the dance floor. The crowd cheered in agreement, then found their seats. Front and center among them was my dad. His proud smile served as my deep breath, though if I knew this room as well as I should have, this speech would go off with 3 laugh lines, 1 surprised reaction, and plenty of tears at the big finish. Well prepped as I was, I still couldn't believe we were finally here. "As you all know, we're gathered tonight to celebrate an incredible man at the end of an incredible era," I started, trying to find the perfect spot at the mic. "And while it's my greatest honor to be the one to make this speech, I have to be honest, I've been struggling with what to say. First, because 75% of my former English teachers are here tonight." That got the first hearty laugh. "Second, because I need to do at least as good a job as my dad did when he gave this same speech for his father. But mostly, because you already know everything I could say about the one and only Dr. Peter Lockhart. You know he's the most generous brother in the world because he gave you lifelong carving rights over the Thanksgiving turkey." My Uncle Ted cackled. "You know he's the best neighbor because he walks your trash cans up your driveway before he even does his own." Mrs. Nevins clutched her chest. "Over at table 10 is the jogging club he's been leading with a fair and even pace for 40 years, even though you all know he can run double your speed." "Then we wouldn't be the shore shufflers," someone from that set cried. That made me smile and relax just a bit more. "And you know he somehow found time throughout his career to serve on the town council, run the beach cleanup committee, volunteer as a track coach for every team I ever ran with, and become the most winning chef at the Highlands annual clam bake-off, thanks to his absolutely killer Clams Johnny Cash." The crowd went rightly wild. I had to clink the glass for quiet again. "But finally, there's the reason we're all here tonight," I continued, with a look over to the group directly surrounding Dad, our team. "You know that he is the brilliant, attentive, caring doctor who delivered, drumroll please, 1,122 babies in his 40-year career." Mouths dropped open as that rightly set a new cheer level record. Okay, so that number was a surprise, but nothing else, right? Because Peter Lockhart has made himself so incredibly easy to know, love, and respect. But as I sat down to write these remarks last week, on his final day as the head of Lockhart Women's Medical, I realized there is something that absolutely no one knows about my dad, and it's especially relevant on this very special night. The room went extra quiet. I tightened my center, not used to having all eyes on me, but this was the part I'd rehearsed the most. Every time Dad dropped me off somewhere throughout my entire life, whether it was school, a friend's house, a track meet, or a party, he'd turn to me and say, "Have fun, and remember your name." We all know he didn't mean Leah. He meant Lockhart. He was telling me to remember who we are and have always been as a family, people who put our loved ones and community first. He was saying be proud of that heritage as you walk about this world, but also make us proud in how you carry it. Tears fell from my cousin Charlotte's eyes at that line, just as they had during every single rehearsal. But mine were clear and focused as they looked straight at the man of the hour. My final words were for him. Dad, you've been my favorite teammate for my entire life. From three-legged races at the county fair to Sunday night pizza making in your kitchen. But it's been my greatest honor to work beside you at the practice our family built. And I promise I'll remember our name as you leave me to continue its great legacy. I raised my glass toward his beaming face as the room burst into applause. To Dr. Peter Lockhart, I said. Then every voice in the room echoed it. Dad stood and started walking in my direction, arm already outstretched for our shake. She's your daughter, not your accountant, Pete, my mom had said when he instituted the special greeting somewhere around my 5th birthday. But I'd always loved it. Kiddo, he'd said with a clasp, until I graduated from medical school. From then on, it was always, Doctor? Thank you, Doctor, he said now, his hand still dwarfing mine. That was... He shook his head, searching for the right word. You're welcome, Doctor, I jumped in. Then I let my grip linger just a second longer than usual. You deserve it. Charlotte raced to our sides, eyes puffy. How did neither of you cry? She was trailed closely by her mother, my Aunt Kath. I know. My God, I was a mess from the turkey carving line, Kath said. Trick of the trade, said Dad, giving their shoulders matching pats as he headed off to greet the long line of people that had formed to offer congrats. Aunt Kath shoved her phone screen to my face. I recorded you from start to finish. I'm going to send it to every woman I know with an eligible bachelor son. Mom, no. Charlotte tried on my behalf for the 1000th time, but my aunt flitted off with a mischievous grin. You did look incredible up there, she said, handing over black flats for the shoe change we'd planned. Very glad we went with the black jumpsuit. It wouldn't be the worst idea to snag a fresh profile pic in it. My younger cousin had been gracefully bossing me around since before she could say my name, especially in things right-brain related. But she'd left me in charge of left-brain tasks for our duo. We were the only girls in our generation of Lockharts, and I believed we made two halves of one formidable future matriarch. Thank you. I am surprisingly comfortable in this thing, I said, peering down at the rare view of myself wearing something other than scrubs or running clothes. TBD on the photos until I have a drink. Or more likely two. Deal, Charlotte said as she grabbed my hand and whisked me toward the bar. The rest of the night was a beautiful blur. Tequila shots with the labor and delivery nurses from Riverview Medical Center. A group photo with Dad and every baby he'd delivered in the room. My Aunt Kath convinced the venue to allow 35 full-sized sparklers on the custom doctor's coat cake she'd baked. I danced my heart out to Born to Run with the Shore Shufflers. And at some point, Charlotte took more than a few photos of me on the restaurant's sunset view deck. It was after midnight when the small group of us still standing took our last drinks down to the beach a block away. Most people ran ahead for a toe dip in the icy-cold ocean, but I stopped, struck by the full moon above. It looked like a surgical light lodged in the sky, pure white and glowing. The dozens of stars surrounding it, sparkling against the inky backdrop, were so crystal clear I felt like I was inside a planetarium show. Was the view always like this here? I felt the odd urge to stop following the others and lie down on the sand for a better view. Then I heard Charlotte's voice ahead. Leah, where are you? That dropped my gaze back down to the scene below. All that mattered to me was right here at eye level. Chapter 1. I snapped my laptop shut, prepared to call this a 4.5-star week. My team had delivered 2 sets of twins with 0 NICU needs. My running club had made the thrilling annual transition out of long pants and into shorts, and Dad and I had found the time to change every wall of my new condo from 90s pastels to a tranquil sea mist. I tucked a strand of hair behind my ear, then remembered that...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?